about that shirt. That is the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man #1, right? I
Yep.
need that is fire, dude. That is fire, bro. I need that
Walmart.
shirt. Hey, listen, Walmart be having some gems, especially when it comes to the comic book t-shirt collection. I've grabbed quite a few, but that is dope. I need to have that.
Hell, I think all but maybe two of my shirts, I got probably 10 or so graphic tees now, and all but maybe one or two came from Walmart.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me it's either Walmart or every now and then I'll find something dope at Old Navy, but it's typically Walmart or sometimes when I'm with my daughter, uh, I can't remember the other place. Anyways,
Hot
that's fine,
Topic
dude.
and shit.
Yeah, stuff like that. And meanwhile, I'm rocking Stan Lee, so we're Marvel
Hell
today.
yeah.
We're marveling it up today. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. Speaking of Spider-Man, we haven't really had the chance to talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day. As you can see, I'm a Spider-Man fan, and I got
Hmm.
that poster.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I know you're a Spider-Man fan. You got one right there.
Hmm.
Um, so since we haven't been able to talk like this in a while, what
Sure.
do you, or what are you looking forward to for Spider-Man Brand New Day?
So even though we have had somewhat versions of this, I am looking forward to finally getting an adult Peter Parker Spider-Man. I know um Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was an adult. He was in college. And I know even Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man graduated high school, but this just seemed to be more adult from uh a situational standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it seems to be more mature, and the fact that now it's going to be another 3 films. I'm happy that we're finally going to get past the young wisecracking Peter Parker to the more mature adult wisecracking Peter Parker. But from a theme standpoint, it seems to be more mature, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to also. Uh, it really appears that they went and did what they set out to do, which was to make a more grounded neighborhood Spider-Man, even from the color, the choice of color saturation that they're using for the film. It seems a little more real, less comic booky, a little more grainy, and I like that. The hand is in this, like, dude.
yeah. See, I've never read any of the comics or anything. I didn't know who the Hand were up
Okay,
until. Also, let me preface this by saying, never seen any of the Punisher movies. I've never seen the Daredevil movie. I've never seen any other shows.
like Ben Affleck's Daredevil,
Yeah,
so
I've never seen Affleck's Daredevil. I think the first Punisher movie my dad had when I was growing up. I just don't have any memory of watching it.
Dolph
That's not,
Lundgren joint.
those aren't really characters that my dad really talked about or showed us a whole lot. I was
Mhm.
obsessed with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man though. But a lot
Okay,
of the villains in this, like Scorpion and Boomerang, I found out about those through like, the old animated TV show.
sure.
And so I was excited to see that those are some of the villains in this. I am, of course, worried about the oversaturation of characters in this
Character.
movie,
Mhm.
but I have more faith because I felt the same way about No Way Home before it came out
Mhm.
and realized that it was all good because like after seeing the movie it was all cool.
Well,
That was an MCU movie. This
right.
is not an MCU movie. This is a
Sure.
Sony Marvel film. When
Sure.
MCU is great at handling that many characters. Sony and Marvel are not.
Sony is not good at
Like
anything Marvel.
exactly
but
that's what I was saying. Like yeah.
but this is the guy who did um Shang-Chi. So, you know what I mean?
I need to watch
Uh
that because I've never seen it.
oh yeah, that was out of all the trash that phase was that 5 was, 6, whatever it was.
4,
Um,
5,
the multiverse after Endgame, out of all of the
anything after
trash
No
that
Way
came out,
Home.
Shang-Chi was dope. That was a good one. But what I was gonna say is I think a lot of the characters from a villain standpoint are gonna be more like quick montages just to kind of show what he has
What
been up to. You know what I mean?
exactly? That's kind of what I'm hoping for, and that would be the
Yeah.
best way to handle it because Boomerang is an interesting enough character. But there's too much to kind of go through. Like to me, it's cool having the Punisher in the movie,
Backstory and all that stuff.
but yeah, like I could see the first 20 minutes being a catch up. Like the half of the first act playing catch up, fun montages and shit,
Yep.
and then going into the second act, closing the first act,
Yep.
you start getting real into Ned and MJ trying to
Yep.
find out who Spider-Man
Who he
is.
is. Yeah.
That establishing a lot of that, a lot of character development with Peter. He's probably going to start, the organic web transition will probably start at the end of the first act. The
Yep.
second act will be a lot of that, and then the conflicts with Scorpion, and then the third act, final battle. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that Bruce Banner doesn't have a major part in this movie at all.
Yeah.
I do not
Well,
need the fucking Hulk in a Spider-Man movie. I don't need it.
no, I don't. I I hope not either. I hope that he's just being utilized to help him get through this transformation process, which makes sense that he would go, even though Bruce Banner doesn't know who he is. It makes sense that he would find Banner to help with this because of he knows who he is. So that part made sense, but the Hulk, no, it doesn't. Not in a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man film. But with that being said, if what the speculation is right and Jean Grey is in this, which I really hope is not the case. And if it is, I hope they're introducing her in the most small uh in the smallest way possible. Um but if she is in it, then there is space for a Hulk, which is why I hope Jean Grey is not in it. But it feels like all signs point to that she is. So
Yeah, that I think it's like the world's worst kept secret that
yeah,
she's Jean
yeah,
Grey.
yeah, sure.
I think there's a lot of interesting shit that they can do with that actually, and giving it the darker tone with it actually fits the tone too with him going through that organic transition, how they made it. I don't believe people have said so, and I think the farthest I'll go with the man spider. I don't think we'll get the man
Organic.
spider.
I agree 100%. If he grows arms, I'm walking out of the theater.
I can see that being a dream sequence, and it'd
Yeah,
be a kick ass dream sequence.
it would be a fucking dope
It would be cool to see for, the one time for like 3 minutes, like a 3 minute dream
on
sequence.
film. What? Hell yeah, dude. A
That
dream
would be
sequence would be
crazy.
perfect. And then just kind of pay that service to the fans that we got to get that and then go move away from it. But if it's like a thing, yeah, no. I th-
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think as far as the man spider is gonna go is he's getting organic webbing
And I was gonna say too with the
and
Bruce Banner
probably
thing,
more powers. Go ahead.
like I hope not only the Hulk. I don't want Bruce Banner in the movie at all. Now it makes sense why he's there, but I hope he's a cameo. Like legit a helpful a cameo, a, a necessary one to where it helps push our character forward and push our plot forward. But I hope we don't get no more than what we've seen of him in the trailer. I hope that all we get is at the most all I want to see Bruce Banner in this movie, and runtime wise, would be kind of the same amount we seen Dr. Connors in Spider-Man 3 in 2007.
Hmm.
No more than that because Peter Parker is a scientist. He's a science whiz. We have barely seen Tom Holland or Tom Holland's version of this character actually use that side of his head. We've
The
seen a
most of
little
it was the
bit.
last one in Far From Home.
Yeah, like
No Way Home. Sorry, No Way Home.
we seen a little bit in No Way Home, but he had
Yeah.
the help of the other two Peters. I want to see him do this shit on his own.
Yeah.
And go through that process on his own. Of course, Bruce Banner, sure, he can kind of give him, the couple steps forward to take, but I want Peter Parker to come up with the solution on his own.
Yeah, so that's the only thing that worries me is because you're right, which means something really dramatic has to be happening to his body outside of just the webbing that would cause him to go run and talk to Bruce Banner. Because Bruce Banner clearly knows what it means to have to be changing into something else.
Yeah, genetic
And
mutation.
and that is the part that worries me about the man spider piece of it. So I do think that he's going to be taking on more spider characteristics that was scary enough for him. Maybe it was a man spider dream that makes him go, I need to talk to somebody who knows what it means to be
Right,
turning
that
into
would
something.
fit very well.
Right. Um, but I agree. I hope there's no Hulk transformation. The only way I see a Hulk transformation, because at some point Punisher and him are going to um team up, because I actually think Jean Grey is the villain in this, and which is going to require some type of team up. Uh, so, but I agree. I don't need a Hulk. One thing I do like though is the attention, not the attention, but the respect and paying homage to the comic books and the straight off the comic book pages frames
Like
that
the
they
still
built into
shots.
the movie. I This is not a flex because I don't have them anymore, but I literally had each one of those comic books, including the one you're wearing. So the
Uh-huh.
moment I saw them, I was like, "Oh, I know exactly what cover that is. Oh, I know what cover that is. I had them, including that one." You're
Got a
making me want
rep.
to go back and get the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man run because it was dope.
I need to find there's several runs of Spider-Man. I need to find one that because I've never read any, so I want to read one.
That's a
But
good one to start.
is it? But I want
Hmm.
to read it on. It sounds stupid. I want to read it online first to
Sure,
see if I like it because I already have enough shit I'm collecting, and I
makes
know
sense.
for a fact if I start liking it, I'm gonna run out of room. Oh hell, I'm already out of room.
Yeah, so I that's a good one. That's a good run because and it's been some time, so I mix my comic books up, so I won't misquote it. But there are a few really great stories in that Spider-Man run, and Todd McFarlane got the opportunity to start at number one. So that's why I'm saying it's a good starting place because he had his own run. And another one I'm about to get thanks to Daredevil and is the Frank Miller Daredevil run. Watching the show is making me want that series again. Frank Miller is one of my favorite comic book uh, artists and storytellers. And his Daredevil one was fucking phenomenal. And so watching Born Again is making me want that run. So
Frank
uh,
Miller did Sin City, and he's also the one who doesn't he have his version of Spawn? Like, don't he have Spawn books, or is it
Uh,
Batman?
I don't. Well, definitely Batman. Frank Miller
Yeah.
did two of probably the biggest Batman stories ever, but I'm not sure if he did a Spawn run. I think only I could be wrong. He may have. Frank Miller, I feel like touches everything.
You
But
know, there's a Spawn movie apparently that Blumhouse is a part of.
yeah, that's been in the works for like decades.
Yeah.
At one point, Jamie Foxx was attached to it. Actually, I think he still is. And Todd McFarlane's writing it though.
Yeah, and I remember on Michael Jai White was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and they were talking about it. And he said that in the early 2000s, that he was going to come back and do a sequel, but then they ended up shutting shit down and they didn't want to do a
Hmm.
sequel anymore. So
Hmm.
he stepped off the project, got tired of waiting, and then all of a sudden the writer of the comic books who made the character said, we need to make another one or whatever. And Michael J. White was like, we? You ain't do shit. And he was like, I'm gonna make my own. He was like, well, all right, well, go ahead, go make you own. So
Yeah.
he said that hell, that was like almost 20 years ago.
Todd McFarlane's been working on this Spawn film with Blumhouse for a very, very long time. It's almost like Blade. I don't think it's coming out.
No, we're not getting Mahershala Ali. That's not
No,
happening.
no, that window that and if they did, it would be in some type of weird multiversal type of situation just to pay off that announcement, but they missed that boat for sure.
That's like the
Um,
people are saying, there's rumors going around about a Batman 3, and I'm like, hell, part 2 hadn't even come out yet. They ain't even started shooting it yet. And damn, Robert Pattinson, he may look young, but he will be, if we were to get a third film by Matt Reeves, he will be well into his like late 40s, early 50s.
so I mean, it's more than rumor mill. They definitely are planning three.
Right,
Um,
but I'm saying if we want to get it
but
with
you're right.
Pattinson
You're right. They would have to knock them out pretty
back to
quickly here.
back or be writing them right now. Now, Matt
I
Reeves is a genius. I'm glad he takes his time because that dude has made perfection. Uh, from Planet of the Apes to Batman is what I've known him for mostly.
Yes,
Uh, yeah, he just takes too damn long.
I feel like I saw somewhere where it was already greenlit, but I you're right. I don't think they have like script for it. Um, but speaking of Batman, we are all over the place. But I can't wait for this to drop because I watched and read the description of it. But this is up your alley, the horror fan out of the two of us. But Clayface is sounding doper and doper to me, dude. I can't wait for that, bro.
Yeah, dude. The shots, the pictures I've seen on the internet, Mike Flanagan writing it, which honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Flanagan if he's only a writer. I like his shit written and directed. I like him having full creative control, but
Yeah.
I mean, Flanagan, he knows these characters. He's wanted to do it for a long time. And Clayface is one that I wasn't too familiar with besides the animated series, but
It's a
that's
sick story.
something that I think if anyone can make a realistic Clayface, it would be Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, it's a sick story, man. And of course, there's different iterations of face, but it's a I it, I can see it being a standalone for sure and horror film. And then, James Gunn, body horror is how he started with Slither. So that's kind of his thing, which is what attracted him to wanting to do Clayface along with the script that was sent. So but based on what everyone is saying about what they showed at CinemaCon, which at one of these years, you and I got to get together and go to these cons, bro. We gotta,
Dude, I swear to God, it will happen. We will
yeah,
be at a
yeah.
CinemaCon. We will be at Fantastic Fest, South
Let's
by
do it,
South,
man.
all
Let's
of
do
them.
it. That's gonna be a freaking blast. But yeah, based on what they're saying, man, it sounds like it's dope. So I'm looking forward to it. Um, Another one I'm looking forward to is the Krieger's Resident Evil. That got a lot of
Yes.
praise over at CinemaCon. A lot of fans are mad. I was going back. One thing I love about YouTube is talking to people about films, and I was actually going back and forth with someone online about it last night. But a lot of Resident Evil fans are mad because it's not a Resident Evil lore story. It's more of just we're being dropped off in the Resident Evil world for one night. But I'm okay with that, and the reason why is because I'd love to hear what you think. Is we've seen 2, 3 attempts of trying to do a live action adaptation of Resident Evil that is like the games, and they all stunk. So I'm not saying we should never try again, but if you got somebody that says, you know what, forget the origins, let's just act like this world exists, these zombies exist, this shit had already happened, and let's watch one character go through that for the night and make it a survival story. And if that does well, then we go back and explain how it all came to be. I think that's dope. I,
I
I
do too.
I think it's original. I think it doesn't necessarily kill, the lore of Resident Evil, as long as they don't go and change up like, you know, specific things like how the T virus was created or the fact that it didn't originate in Raccoon City. Like if they start changing up stuff like that, then I can see fans get pissed. But if all they're doing is saying Resident Evil has happened and here's a guy in a town trying to get home, let's go. I think it's dope.
Mm,
I'm in. I can't
I
wait.
have actually I was pretty skeptical at first, but if you would have asked me when like Barbarian came out, who I wanted to do a Resident Evil movie, well, I hadn't played Resident Evil then, so that doesn't make sense. Okay, Weapons. When Weapons came out,
Yeah,
if you'd asked me who I wanted to make one and it'd be a faithful adaptation, I would have said Gregor. I would have said either him or like what most people would say, like Fede Alvarez.
yeah.
Because he's, whenever he does sequels or spin-offs or whatever, remakes, whatever you want to call it, he's very faithful to that too. I think Zach Kreger is a dude. If I was a producer, I'd probably hate working with him because I already know he's a pain in the ass. He's gonna get it his way. He's
Well, his
getting it
way
his way.
works.
And the thing about Kreger is that he is a Resident Evil like fanatic. So
Right.
he's not the things that the original movies have done is they're not faithful adaptations. They're someone taking the lore
I think
and
I think
throwing
the
some.
past I think the last one, the Netflix one, was pretty close. I think it was just Netflix that it came out
The
on.
Welcome to Raccoon City.
Yeah, that one
That was
was
theatrical release.
probably the closest to like the lore that we've seen.
Yeah,
And
but the way they did Leon in that was
so,
shit.
so that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that that's the bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's
like
bad.
that's the best Resident Evil movie we have, and
Right.
it's dog shit. I
Right.
don't like the movie. I actually ended up watching it finally, like last week or something. Me and my girlfriend, we were going to try to go through the original. Um,
The Annie series or whatever.
yeah,
Annie. Well, I think.
Anderson or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were trying to go through that series, and I told her, I said, we're not watching Welcome to Raccoon City because the way I already know how they did Leon. Like, I've heard the rumors, and then I watched the movie at work or something, and it was worse than I thought. I mean,
Yeah.
he, he's like a guy who's like there, and he's a rookie who shot his ex partner in the ass.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No.
And it was sad is Leon's rookie story, the game is enough. There's enough there. You know what I mean? Like you really don't have to. So, but that's what I'm saying, Hayden. That's what I'm saying. Why? I'm not saying we don't go back and revisit and make a film true to the video games, but
No,
why we
right.
don't have to do that immediately. You know what I
Right. No,
mean?
I get what you're saying. That's like people were hating on the Resident Evil Biohazard and Resident Evil Village whenever they were coming out because they weren't like to the the story that they were used to.
Right.
It wasn't, Jill or Chris or Leon or anything like
Right.
that. It was this new guy, Ethan, and he
Right.
was set in the middle of damn Louisiana. And then next thing you know, it actually does tie into the storyline. It's just
Right.
from someone else in a different location, away from all these people, away from Raccoon City, and it's just a really great horror story,
That's what I'm
and it
saying,
still
man.
ties in beautifully with the original story or with the uh, chronicle storyline. Zach Kreger, that's basically what he's doing. He's giving you a different character. He's giving you it's still gonna be in Raccoon City. Like it takes place inside Raccoon City. It's just
Does
a
it? I thought it took
person.
place outside of Raccoon City.
No, this person is traveling through or to or through Raccoon City to deliver something and is discovering this virus, and it is a straight chase basically the whole entire movie
Survive the night.
right throughout the night. And it's the guy who played the crackhead in Weapons. I forget his
Some of the
name.
one of the best parts of the movie.
Right, exactly. I love the dude as an actor, just from that
Yeah.
alone. But yeah, Kreger, he's a very uh huge fan of the series. He is openly hated the other movies, says that they're dog shit, that he doesn't understand why they make those. I'm of the opinion that if you're going to make a movie, there is too much in those storylines to make them into movies. Those need to be TV shows. Each game could be its own season of
It
television.
really could. It really could.
And if you want to make a movie, make it do what Resident Evil 7 did, and just you can set it in the timeline, just give us a different
Yeah.
perspective and
Yeah.
tell that own story and make it very horror. Give it the same atmosphere and shit. Tie it in if you want to, but don't go
Yeah.
changing up the fucking lore or throwing in cameos that don't matter or
Yeah.
disrespecting the games.
and I love the fact that it's a survival film, and we don't need to go down this whole rabbit hole because we did already. But I'll just say briefly is one thing he is really good at is building suspense and making you go through something in a short amount of time, not time in regards to film runtime, but in time in regards to the time the story is taking place. He's really good at building a lot of world building and suspense, and and one thing I love is he doesn't rely on cheap jump scares. Like he earns those from the audience. Like he puts you through so much that when that jump scare comes, one, it's not one of those things where like I know it's coming, I know it's coming. He puts you in a place where you're like, all right, well maybe there is no you know what I mean?
Right. Like I think him and James Wan both are some of the best with jump scares. Now,
Yeah,
you
I
look at
agree.
James Wan's franchises and they're known for the cheapest jump scares, but you look at
Right,
his movies strictly,
right.
I mean, it's like the lipstick demon in Insidious 1 or the
Don't know what you're
that
talking about.
boogeyman day walking through and walking back through, or like jump scares like in Signs whenever you got the
Yeah.
alien that yeah,
Hmm.
jump scares like that are like the best when they're not jump scares. You
Right,
startle yourself. The movie doesn't like. There's no
right,
loud bang.
right.
Um,
Because of what the emotion that you're going through at the moment, you do it yourself. Oh shit, that was an alien. That
yeah,
part, you that what you just said right there, I'll never forget that scene. Like I was everybody I was with said, "Oh," because it was like no, and it was nothing that creeped out in the camera. It was in the background, just doo doo doo.
and it isn't
Those
like
are
there's
the
no
best.
loud bang or nothing. It
Nope.
wasn't. It was not a jump scare. It was just you were so shocked and startled by what was happening that you were in this world where you didn't know what to believe. You got these
Right.
two goofy dudes. One's a little more straighter than the other with
Right.
what's going on. There's conspiracies, and it's just a crazy journey up to that point. And then they're sitting
Yeah,
there
man.
watching the TV, and then out of nowhere, dude,
Now I feel like watching that movie. Man, that whole theater lost it. I'll never forget that.
I
But
haven't seen it since
anyway,
I was
I'm gonna
probably
give. But
4 years old, and that's all I remember of it.
oh wow, dude. For somebody that you, for someone who has the extensive movie collection that you have, it every now and then you'll throw one out there that I'm like, how do you not have that in your collection?
A lot of them are hard finds. Signs recently has been a hard find for me. Now, Walmart actually has it right now, my local Walmart, but they have it on DVD. I'm no longer buying DVDs.
And
Unless,
and that's fair because a lot of my collection is DVDs. So
now
because I
there's movies
started so
like
long ago.
Rudderless.
Mhm.
Rudderless is impossible. You are not finding that movie on Blu-ray unless you buy some sketchy ass used one on eBay that me personally, I don't trust
Fair.
that and I don't want to spend the money on that. But there's like the only legit version of that movie right now you can find is either DVD, and it's going to take a while to find it, or you can find this collector edition that there's only 60 copies of, and you got to ship it from Canada,
No, it's not
and the
that hard.
Blu-ray costs $32, but the shipping is also $32.
Yeah, you know what? That I take back what I said because you're right. Because a lot of my collection was built during the DVD era, and I have obviously, like you, have switched to 4K and Blu-rays. But two things: one, I haven't gotten to a place where I repeat buying. If I already have it, then it is what it is. But also, if I missed it, you're right. There are some that you try to go back to get, and it's like, I can't even find it nowhere. So I take that back. You're right,
I
Hayden.
got lucky. I ordered some last night. I ordered the Friday the 13th 8 film collection. I already have it on DVD. I'm in the process of actually rebuying the ones I have on
So
DVD
you are. That's dope.
and converting them.
Mhm.
And I think it's almost going to be cheaper to buy a damn burner. Uh, but I found the Friday 13th 8 film collection on Steelbook for like $37. Snagged that real quick.
That's
And then I
dope.
found a movie I loved from 2024, Honora, the Academy winner. You've never seen it?
No.
Oh my God.
Let me tell
Well,
you something. For somebody that is, and I'm going to say this for the public to hear, for somebody who I considers themselves to be a student of film, like I love movies. Anytime a movie has Academy Award buzz, I need someone to tell me to go watch it because I just don't the industry because the industry pushes what they want to be hype. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of times some of these movies don't be good, but they want you to make it good because for some reason it fits the hot topic of the time. And so, not saying that that's the case with all movies, because a lot of these movies are good, but I just don't trust it. So, someone has to tell me, "Hey, bro, check that one out. That one was dope." Like, what's the one that just got recent buzz that I'm actually gonna sit and watch? Begonia.
Oh, Begonia, yeah,
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
Emma Stone and
Right.
what's his
So
face?
that was one I watched the trailer. I was like, okay, but it was getting a lot of buzz. I was like, is it really that
It's
good? But then
weird.
some people that I trusted said, Marcus, this up your alley because of what you just said. It's really weird, but the acting is fantastic. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna check
Uh,
it out.
Let me look it up to see who's it by. It's by the same. Well, I don't know. Did you watch the movie Poor Things, or do you know what Poor Things is with Emma
I
Stone?
do know, but I did not watch it.
It was by the same guy who made that.
Okay.
Yorgos Fred. I'm not even gonna pretend I
All
know how to
good.
say his name.
All good. Poor things that got a lot of buzz. Didn't she win for that? Or I think that got a lot
Emma
of buzz
Stone.
too.
I'm not sure. No, because I think that was the same year as Oppenheimer.
Okay, well then there's that. So yeah, so
But
anyways, that's my real influences. Deep Marcus confession is that movies that have Oscar buzz, unless like it catches my attention, um, someone has to tell me, bro, no, trust it, it's good because a lot of times, and I'm sure people feel that way about Sinners. I just happen to think that movie is worth all the buzz, but I know a lot of people are like, dude, this is now nowhere near as good as people are making it out to be. So
do you like art house type films? Do you know?
sometimes, yeah,
Okay.
sometimes,
Did you see The
sometimes,
Lighthouse?
yeah, with William
Okay.
Dafoe and the
Robert
we were
Pattinson.
just talking about. Thank you. Yeah, that was
Did
sick.
you like that?
Yeah.
Okay, the same guy who made that made Poor Things, who also made Begonia.
Okay.
Okay,
See,
so since you like some
here we
weird shit
go.
like that, you'll probably love Poor Things, and you'll Begonia's the most mainstream movie he's made.
Begonia
But
looks way more interesting to me than Poor Things.
oh yeah, dude, Poor Things, it was sick to me. I could not watch it.
Listen, here's how weird I am. Like I watched Perfume. Did you see that movie?
I know of it, never seen it.
Ah, freaking sick, dude. I loved it. It is so weird. It's about a dude who makes uh perfume scent from like human bodies,
Mm-hmm.
but it drives people like erotically insane, and it is a crazy film. Say sim crazy like what's the last the one Demi Moore just did that was just are you kidding me?
Substance.
Substance. Freaking nuts,
Is
dude.
whose perfume?
I don't I don't even know who
Sounds
made
like
Perfume.
is it body horror?
No, no, it's but so you saw a Substance with Demi Moore, right?
Mm-hmm. Loved it.
So remember the crazy theater scene that just like came
Mm-hmm.
out of left field, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. It just
Right.
goes completely nuts. So there's a scene like that in Perfume where it's just everyone. It's just turns into an all-out orgy bloodfest. It just goes insane. I mean, it goes left. Like what? So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Hey, like I like weird shit, but
That sounds like Event Horizon.
oh, Event, oh with the eyes, oh, Event Horizon. I mentioned that movie to people, and they go, "What movie is that?" And it's like one of those '90s movies that was good for then, but if you go back and look at it now, you get why it was not really accepted. But the scene that what you just mentioned with the eyes and that shit was sick.
Yeah.
And I feel like
I've seen
watching
it.
that movie.
I've seen it like twice. Once when I was pretty little, and then another time I think when I was 13 or so. I was going back through a bunch of movies. I don't remember a whole lot about it, but that's definitely one that I remember. That's
Perfume, the story of a murderer. There it is. So yeah, the dude like kills people. for to get their scent, but it's not body horror. Um, he's just it's just wild, dude.
Like it doesn't show what he's doing. It's more suggestive.
No, you like you see it, but
S- do you see him killing them? Like is
yeah,
it
yeah. So
gory?
it's like one of those. It's just like a dark film. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But it's not like
Uh,
Butcher until like the end. There's one climactic scene that's just like, yo, what did I just watch? It's like
uh
it's like um what's the film? The musical, Johnny Depp, the barber.
oh, Sweeney Todd.
It's like Sweeney Todd without the music.
Dude, I love Sweeney Todd. I'm
Oh
waiting
yes.
on like a really cool edition to come out so I can buy it.
And I mean Tim Burton is one of my favorite directors. So
Ooh,
you
hot take. I don't like his movies.
oh, we about to fight, bro. I think we might have our first argument. Like
Dude,
for
I lied to myself for years saying I like Nightmare Before Christmas. I do not like that movie. I just don't. And then I like Beetlejuice, but I think a lot of it is nostalgia. I haven't even seen part two, 'cause I think it was a mistake ever making a second one. And I I do have a lot of nostalgia actually for not the first Batman, even though that was the first one I ever watched. I have a lot
the
for Batman Returns.
Returns. Well, that Batman Returns is more Tim Burton than the first one. Batman Returns is Tim Burton was they let him loose. They didn't realize what he was going to create, but they let him
Yeah.
loose. They was like, we can't sell toys with this, dude.
Basically, I like his live action shit.
Tim Burton is one of my favorite directors of all time. Christopher Nolan is has the top spot, um, but Tim Burton is one of my favorite.
Okay,
If
so
he listen, I liked Dumbo, bro. I like Tim Burton's Dumbo.
I'm gonna
Yes, sir.
save you a little bit. I'm gonna cut that out. No, okay,
I will
so
say that. Hey, bro, I'm sorry.
no, kind of getting into the theme of my podcast here. Um, so you say that Tim Burton and Christopher Nolan are some of your are your favorite directors.
Hmm.
Growing up, what was the most influential movies of theirs, ones or your favorite ones of theirs that you've seen growing up, and then which ones influenced you as a creator?
Well, Nolan, of course, I was an adult by the time Nolan stuff
Oh
came out,
yeah.
uh, but Tim Burton, it would be the first Batman was, and it wasn't because it was more than just a movie. Like I was there. That was the biggest movie of the century when it came out. Like I remember the billboards everywhere with no words on it, just the Batman sign and a date, and on buses and on sides of buildings living in New York City, and just the hype and the toys and the video games and the cereal and the music videos by Prince and all that stuff adds to why that movie was so impactful to me. It was just it was just a time of my life that I'll never forget because of how huge that movie was. And I remember people, losing their shit because it was Michael Keaton, because I remember Mr. Mom and the couple other comedies that he did, and Jack Nicholson
Multiplicity.
being Multiplicity. I think Multiplicity might have been after Batman, though. I can't remember. But Mr. I can't remember the car sales movie that he did. But anyways, so it was just like a movement. It was just so it was bigger than life. And that was my first time being old enough to really experience something bigger than life since Star Wars. You know what I mean? Because when the first two Superman came out, I was little. I remember seeing it in movies, but I don't remember what life was like because these movies existed. And it wasn't until Return of the Jedi that I saw, oh my God, okay, this is what a movie can do. And
Can I hold
Nolan,
on?
but
Remember where you're gonna go?
sure.
Give me 1 second. I'm so
Yeah, yeah.
sorry.
You good, brother?
What's up? 4130. Uh, no, you cannot see you in the camera. I promise. My girlfriend just came and sat beside me. She was
Uh,
wanting to sit there and didn't know she could be seen or anything. I could not hear because these headphones are loud. 4:30.
I can't see you,
All right, so
Nolan.
do you remember?
Yeah, I know where I was going.
All right, go ahead.
So Nolan, my first experience with Christopher Nolan was Batman, the his Batman. But
So your
then I
first
went,
experience with both of them were Batman.
yeah, I just put that together. Yeah, that's funny.
That's
Yeah,
dope.
that is pretty dope. Um, but then I went back and the movie that had the biggest impact was actually oh man, and now I'm gonna have a brain freeze because I just thought it was so I I I felt like I had never seen anything like it before. Shoot, what is the movie where he has a short memory loss and he has to write everything down on his hand and he's trying to solve his wife's murder. Um
Um, Memento.
Memento. So I went back and discovered Memento after Batman and was some of the best storytelling I had seen, and the way he filmed that and the acting and the twist. I was just like, this dude is incredible. I'll watch anything he makes. And then, after that, there was Insomnia, and he just kept putting out bangers. But from
Inception, Interstellar.
Inception, but from an artist standpoint, it was uh, Memento that really impacted me as a creator. I just thought that story was so compelling, and then the twist at the end, and Hayden. One of the things I hate is when a movie has a twist for the sake of a twist. And it's like that, you didn't even earn that. You just wanted to do something to go, ooh, look, we switched it on you. I hate that. But
Yeah,
when
me
it's
too.
twist that like they spend time on building up, and then when it happens, you're like, are you effing kidding me? It could be something as small as the twist in Rudderless. Like that was small but
The
huge. I
the
text you,
movie
I
would
was like,
not work without that twist. I hate
right.
twists that are like out of nowhere. Like I call them lucky twists. That like, yeah, the twist works, but you definitely did not have that in sight the whole time.
You probably wrote that after once we got to the scene, was like, what would be cool here.
Yeah,
um, so yeah, from an artist standpoint and from a creative standpoint, it was definitely Memento for me. I was just like, this is incredible. Tim Burton, just being a kid, seeing Batman and then and man, I don't know, maybe I was just depressed back then. My my family thought I was. I bought my parents Nightmare Before Christmas for Christmas, and they were like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, this movie's dope. What's wrong with you?" But
what
did I answer your question?
you're yeah, you're also you're an actor. You're also a comedian, which I didn't
Mhm.
know about until recently. Um, yeah, I need to see you on that stage more, but because I'm a huge comedian fan.
All right, that's what's
But
up.
what is or who are some of the more influential actors? Now, it don't even have to be your favorite, just ones that inspire you and influence you in the way you move when you go to act at all, if there are any. Um,
So can I answer that in two parts since we were talking about
Absolutely.
directors? So Tim Burton and Christopher Nolan are my favorite directors, but they aren't the most influential in regards to my career and wanting to do what I do. And then actors, so I'm gonna answer it in two ways. So directors wise, it's actually Spike Lee and Robert Townsend, and the reason why Robert Townsend and Spike Lee both started their companies, and some of their big they paid for themselves. They just wanted it out that bad. Robert Townsend made Hollywood Shuffle using credit cards, and to me, that hustle, that drive to get your story done is huge. And I think about that story and what Spike Lee did, what She's Gotta Have It, and some of his older films are motivating for me as a creator. So when Hurt in Private and other projects that I'm working on, those are the people I think about. That is what is inspiring me to do those projects, is because these people did it before we had the technology that we had now, and they were using credit cards and borrowing church money, and that's huge. Um, so those two are some of the most impactful and inspirational directors on me. From an acting standpoint, um, Denzel Washington is my favorite actor of all time. And I know that what people say about him, from he's just be playing the same character, blah blah, ridiculous. And if you watch, and I'm just going to give a quick example, if you watch something like uh, American Gangster, for example, there's a scene at the end of the movie where he comes out of prison and he meets the cop outside of the prison gate. And if you watch him, he's walking with his hands and feet as if he was still shackled, because he had been in prison all those years and was trained to have his hands and feet. And as an actor, he made that decision to not just walk out of the prison, but instead walk like a man still shackled. That was so huge to me. And it's little stuff like that Denzel Washington does as an actor that I just absolutely adore. And I hope one day I can apply some of the things that man does, because it's the attention to detail. Like everything he does is, and I know there's other actors that do that, but everything he does is so intentional. It's so, there's a reason behind each move, each tone,
Mm-hmm.
each voice, and those choices is what makes him incredible. So Denzel Washington, hands down, is my favorite actor and probably the most impactful actor on my life for sure. From a
Yeah, the just to touch back on what you said about what people saying about him kind of being the same person. To me,
ridiculous.
he's just he he is definitely you cannot sit there and tell me that the same guy who was in Fences is the same guy who was playing the coach in remember the Titans, and you can't tell me that that coach is Malcolm X.
Remember
You
Titans,
can't,
right?
or Training Day. They're all very different. It actually kind of reminds me of an argument that the comedian Ari Spears.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, he was on Big Boy TV, and he was talking about the
yeah.
difference between Denzel and Will Smith, and
Right,
I agree with him. Like not saying Will Smith is a bad actor. He's not. Will Smith is a phenomenal actor.
sure.
But Denzel's charisma is so damn crazy, and his looks are just the way he talks and
Right,
moves is
right,
just that's him. That's his
right,
personality that he brings to the character. But you can't
sure.
tell me just because you see the same damn face on somebody and then
Right,
see the same face in another fucking movie that it's the same
right.
person when it's not. Denzel is one of the most transformative actors there is. I put him with, or with transformations only, I would compare him with like Colin Farrell in The Penguin.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah.
Denzel
He
don't need no damn makeup.
right. No, just one. I think that's a fantastic example, because Colin Farrell is like that. Like the guy just disappears in the role, 100%. Yeah. So he has been always my idol in regards to acting. And I always tell my wife, I don't get very starstruck. Um, b- I because I celebrities in a past life of mine, and so I don't really get starstruck. But if I ever get the opportunity to do a movie with Denzel, I will have to tell him, Mr. Washington, I just need like 10 minutes. Just let me weep like a little child. And I promise you, I will be professional after this. I just need 10 minutes. Because
He
the
gonna look
guy
at
is
you
my
like,
hero
all
from
right,
an acting
grab your knee
standpoint.
pads. I'd
um,
be like, happily.
yeah.
No, I'm
So,
playing.
he said happily. I got you, Mr. Washington. So it's funny, and I appreciate you mentioning the comedy piece and stand up comedy. Acting, I've been, if you ask my parents, I've been doing it all my life. And I really kind of have from a child, whether it be school plays and a bunch of other things. And it's something that I pursue every day. I was like the class clown coming up. I felt like to hear people laugh and make people laugh because I'm uncomfortable, and
Right.
it's more comfortable for me if we're all laughing. And I do that as an adult. In corporate America, people always go, Marcus, you're the only person that is genuine in these things. I'm like, well, because I'm uncomfortable, but I'm more comfortable if we're all laughing. So even in corporate America, I do that. But I've always said this, and I say this now. Even as a kid, everyone used to always say, "Dude, you got to do stand up comedy. You got to do stand up comedy. You're so freaking funny. You're so freaking funny." And I always told people, "Listen, it's one thing to be funny. It's something entirely different to write funny." That is a talent that even right now, despite the fact that I've done jokes, I still don't have. For someone to write jokes to make a complete stranger piss on themselves is a talent that I have so much respect for actual comedians. So when people tell me that, it's too new to me for me to be like, yeah, I'm a stand-up comedian. I've only been doing it for a couple of years. I enjoy doing comedy, but I just feel like I haven't even earned the stripes to call myself a stand-up comedian. Not no offense to you, because other people do it, and I accept that and I appreciate it. But I personally don't ever come out and be like, yeah, I'm a stand-up comic, because it's just, I don't know,
You
man.
got too much respect for the game, and you know what it
Yeah, man.
takes.
Yeah, bro.
Right.
I feel like I haven't earned the stripes yet. And I know people who do this all day, every day. They eat, sleep, shit it, and they are stand-up comedians. I'm just a student. You know what I mean?
Who are
Uh
some of the most influential comedians for you? Or like maybe
sure.
give me like your Mount Rushmore if you wanted, and then tell me which style you like more. Because there's a difference. You can say
Yeah, yeah.
Chappelle's your favorite comedian, but you prefer like prior style compared to
So
Chappelle.
I'm not I think Mount Rushmore is so tough. Here's my favorite comedians, and I'm all over the place. So, you have Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, uh, Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld. But then I love Joe Coy. I think Joe Coy is freaking hilarious. Jim Gaffigan, thank you. Oh my God, that was gonna bother me.
Oh yeah, I like a
So
lot of his older stuff.
so my comedy taste is all over the place. But who do I study? I study Eddie Murphy. I study Richard Pryor. I study Bernie Mac. Um, but I'm learning different things from each one of those, um, because I grew up on comedy, Bill Cosby records and all that stuff. But my style of comedy is telling stories about real life. Like my jokes, I don't. When I write a set, my set is about stuff that happened to me. So like a lot of my jokes are about my wife or my kids or work or what happened at Walmart. And no, that is my favorite style of comedy. That's why I like Jim Gaffigan, because he just sits there and talks about his family and his kids and how fat he is and how pale he is, and the shit is hilarious. Um,
His humor is very childlike and safe, and he knows how to do it. There's a lot that
yeah,
don't, and they try. Like you got your what they call clean comics, and that's like
sure.
Nate Bargatze,
Hmm.
wonderful comedian, very funny. He's
Hmm.
very clean. But then you
Hmm.
have Jim Gaffigan, who's not only clean, but he is very childlike. He has a very
Hmm.
not calling his sense of humor stupid, but he has a stupid sense of humor. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. It's simplistic, but bangs you in the head. Like, and
Oh, it's
matter of
funny.
fact, Jim Gaffigan, some of his jokes you get after he said it, and then you go, wait a minute, that shit was fucking hilarious. Joe Coy, like I said, his comedy because he talks about his mom. That's the kind of stuff I like. I'm not. I used to be a Kevin Hart fan, but as the older he gets, the worse his jokes have gotten to me.
His last special was
Um,
bad.
I feel like his last two specials weren't good.
Oh yeah.
Um, I like Dave Chappelle. I'm not a political comedian, uh, but I think he's a genius at what he does, and I think no one can do it better than he can
The older he
at
gets,
what he
he's.
does.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. The older he
No, you
gets, the
good,
more
bro.
he's turning into like George Carlin. But he's actually funny. Where George Carlin, when you get to like to the point of his specials where he was putting out like one to two a year, it wasn't even comedy. It was just political rants.
No, he was giving speeches at one point. Like, yeah, George Carlin
Yeah.
eventually got to a place where he was just standing in front of people and giving speeches. um, yeah, there. So yeah, I'm a student right now, man, and I uh, I do comedy when I can. But my first passion is acting in movies. But you know where
I
how
loved your acting in Hurt and Private. I'll do it.
I
I love
appreciate it,
that
man.
short film so damn much.
Thanks,
I
brother.
have praised that to the roof. I love it.
Hey, listen, man, you can help me with the second one. So I finished writing the sequel, and it's a feature. It's full length feature, but I'm going all out on this one, man. Like I'm gonna, I'm out here doing things. I'm gonna, get a real budget behind this thing. Uh, like I want to make a film that is worthy enough to get distribution.
Is it going to be a pseudo sequel, a lot like how Evil Dead 2 is actually just a bigger budgeted remake version of the first film? Or is it going to
No,
be like a legit sequel?
it's a sequel for where you know you'll you'll love it more had you watched the first one because then the character's journey in the second one will hit harder and you'll appreciate it more, which is why I'm glad this first one is free in YouTube because I feel like once people see the second one they're gonna want to go back and watch the first one.
Do you
But
have
it is
a
a sequel for sure.
will it be like not, don't you don't have to say a title or anything just yet, but will you put like part 2 in the
Yeah,
title?
well, not part two, but you'll know that it's a sequel because it's like a hyphen, Hurt and Private, something else. You know what I mean?
That doesn't
Um,
necessarily mean sequel, but that works
that's true.
better.
That's true. That's true. You're right. It doesn't scream sequel. But once it starts, you'll know it's a sequel because it starts with a flashback from the first one. So,
Well,
but I'm going all out after for this one, Hayden. Like I'm gonna put some real money behind. I mean, I put my own money behind the first one, but that was like skipping on a couple of things just to get this paid for. But this is I'm going all out, and I hope to put it out on AVOD, like Tubi or some of these other streaming services. Um, I'm going to the circuit. Try to put it in a couple of contests, like the whole 9 yards, bro. I'm really excited about it, man. I had a great time writing it. It's centered more around the Alex's daughter this time. And it's fire, bro. I'm really excited. I can't wait to get started on this. But
I'm
yeah,
excited
so
for you. If you can get
I
it around
appreciate
some
it.
film festival circuits,
Yep.
if you can get one close enough here, I'm seriously going to try to go, dude. I would love to, for one, just meet you in person, and for two, I
Yeah.
would love to see your film with you. That would mean the most. And it's just it gets so hard with the money I'm making and shit. But I'm going to support you in every way I can.
I appreciate you, brother.
No matter.
Say less, man. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna once we get this thing done, and you can help me out with this, but I'm gonna make it my purpose to find a festival in your area and try to get it submitted. For
I think the
sure.
closest one, honestly, is Austin, Texas.
Say less. I've never been. I've always wanted to go to Austin because of the music. So,
And
so
comedy.
and comedy. Yeah, that's true. So I am really excited about this one. But yeah, stand up I love to do. I got so tired of people telling me to do comedy, and actually not COVID. I actually lost my job and was in a situation where I had time, and I just started writing jokes and started doing open mic nights, and ran the circuit. And anytime there was a mic, I got in front of it, and just yeah. I do want to get back to it, but once I started creating my own films, I was like, yeah, I got to pick something. And so I made this year to kind of take a break from stand up because we were doing Hurt in Private. And now I'm working on the second one. So, but I definitely want to get back into it because I love it. But acting is my first love.
Maybe while you're actively writing the film, since you're in the writing process, your creator in your head is in the writing process too. So while you're writing your film, you could be every once in a while just tapping in a couple of jokes, something funny happens in real life, write it down, write out three endings for it, and just pump it up, test it out, see what works. Just while you're already in your writing creative stage, might as well just keep the juice flowing into something else.
So what you're saying is spot on and so accurate, but here's my process, bro. When I'm writing a film, like I am in that mode, meaning what that character is going through, like method acting, or not method it's kind not method acting, but like um
You're feeling the character, you're feeling
sense
every
memory
character you're
where
writing.
yeah. So like in acting there's a method of getting ready for a role called sense memory, where you kind of
Hmm.
remember something that kind of matches the emotion that you need to bring to the scene that you're doing. And when I'm writing, I'm like having sense memory. I'm in that place for every character, and so it's tough to get out of that mode. But I I keep my comedy books with me at all times. So when to what you this is why I'm saying what you're saying is spot on. Is if I see something or hear something, I go, oh, I gotta write that down. I'm old. I still write shit down. Um, um so to your point, yeah. And I get inspired by anything. I could be in Target and see something and be like, that is hilarious, and write a joke. But when I'm in writing mode, I'm in whatever the characters are going through uh mode.
Man, I only got a few minutes left with you.
Bro,
I've
we've been
really
running our
enjoyed
mouths
this.
that long, dude.
Huh?
We've been running our mouths that long, bro. I
Yeah,
didn't
we've
even
been running
realize
for a
the
while.
time.
It
Damn.
feels like no time, dude. It feels like
This
we've
is
been
what
here for
I'm
like five
sorry, man.
minutes.
You got to shut me up, dude. We get to talking and we just
No, this is what I wanted. I wanted a free flow version of the podcast. Like my first one was Cody Leach, and admittedly, I'm a fan of his,
right.
and I'm a fan first. I don't know him. I don't, text him or anything like that. So
Fair.
getting to do that was like I had a fan moment, and then it was my first podcast, and I kept it
Yeah.
pretty scripted. Uh,
Okay.
on my end, the question wise, not what we were saying, but my questions
Sure.
were very, and then with my buddy Ken, who's becoming one of my closer friends now, I was still a little nervous, but not really. I knew him enough. I knew how pretty loose I could be, but still wanted to stick to this, questions. With you, you're my bro, dog. Like I was not worried at all about this. The only thing
Yeah.
I was fucking worried about was actually if we would be able to find time to actually do it, because we ended up rescheduling a lot. My fault.
No, it's all
Um,
good, man. Well, listen, what let's end on what you want to end on. Hit me with what you want to end on.
just real quick, I again just touching back on the Hurt and Private, I really did love the short film. I think it is one of the most realistic and looks into humanity in
Yeah,
general. I think the commentary that short discusses. I'm trying not to get too deep because I want people to actually go and watch it. And
check it out.
also,
Yeah, yeah.
I loved how you ended. And since you've already said there would be a sequel, still not going to give like spoilers or anything, but you don't end on a bleak note. It's
Right.
very it could be, I guess, in a way, it depending on how you look at it, but you'd have to stretch it to call it bleak. It ends on a higher note,
Yeah, it
and
does. I
that
agree.
was very satisfying to me. That was very it. It'd have been ballsy to end it bleak, but I'm glad you didn't. Really, and I appreciate movies that do, but I'm glad your story didn't, and I relate in a lot of ways to that story. There's a
Yeah.
lot of men, especially that men are
Right.
overlooked with depression, and it's become more of an valued thing now to check in
Now.
on men's mental
Mhm.
health, but and not mental illness, by the way, and mental health. That it's more of a looked at thing now, but it's still overshadowed in areas. And
Well, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No. So hey, I agree. Mental health in general, which is a great thing, is more popular and people are paying attention. And I think that's great. The purpose of Hurt in Private was to not only shed light on the secret hurt that men go through, but also to share to men what you do to the people around you when you don't share, what you're going through.
Like
They
as
have
hurt as
suffered. What you say?
I was gonna say like that, like as hurt as you are, you can also hurt others
You're
by shutting
hurting
them out.
others. Absolutely. So as you think you're sparing them by not sharing and being the man, and I gotta hold it down for my people. They can't see me hurt. In all actuality, that could backfire, and you could be hurting them. And I wanted men to see that, and people to see that, but I also wanted people to see that you know it's okay. It's okay to hurt, but it's okay to share. But and I hope the message came across. But also, I wanted it to be natural and not preachy, and I felt like we did that, which is why the way it does, because I just feel like if it ended, the way everyone thought it was going to end, I just felt like that would be cheap emotion. You know what I mean? Like making people feel that, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted people to, but didn't realize, oh, it can be okay. And because that's, at the end of the day, that's the message, is you don't have to hurt in private, and it can be okay. And I feel like we did that. I feel like we did that for sure.
Excuse me, I was trying to make that quiet. um,
You
that's just gonna be hard to edit out.
should make it louder. Put a sound effect.
Right. What's it called? Huh, I just thought of this too. Not to get off topic, but we were talking about Jim Gaffigan earlier, and I started
Yeah.
laughing really hard to myself because I was
Mhm.
remembering on my last episode with Ken, he brought
Mhm.
up Jim Gaffigan in that '70s show where they're sitting in. I don't know. Have you ever seen the show?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you are. So you know, like they have the smoke circle. Do you know
yeah,
what episode I'm
yeah.
talking about with Jim
Oh yeah.
Gaffigan?
I don't remember him. So that's not one of the shows that I will go back and repeat over and over again.
There's a
Oh yeah. I think I do remember that. Go
there's
ahead.
a they're sitting in the circle. You know how they all sitting there smoking pot, and then
Smoking.
Jim Gaffigan's down there, and he's like, "So there I was, just standing on the Golden Gate Bridge, and people are telling me to jump. I was just going for a jog." That was so funny,
that
dude.
sounds like him.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to just take the
No, you're good,
conversation
man.
to a
We're
different
all
place,
over the
but
place, anyways.
the last thing I want to talk about really quick before we close out, because
Mhm.
we got probably 10 minutes or so left. Uh,
All good.
music. Me and you've been talking about music a little bit this week. Got to talk about that more because we haven't really, and I wanted to save a little bit for the podcast, but I was
Okay,
thinking to keep it more movie related. So
sure.
something I've been diving more into is scores, themes, and soundtracks. And like, I mean, I've been diving more into so many different bands. Like a famous one, especially for me with the horror love I have, is like the Ramones, where they have like the Pet
Ah,
Cemetery
yeah,
for Stephen King, or you have
yeah.
uh, movies like Idle Hands that use "Want to Be Sedated" by the
Ah,
Ramones,
yeah.
and you mentioned Nolan's
Mhm.
scores with Hans Zimmerman,
Hans Zimmerman.
beautiful scores. The you
Hmm.
know the emotions they put into it. There's Have you seen Project Hail Mary?
No, no. I was sad I missed that. I wanted to see that in theaters.
It's so worth it. It's not overhyped at all. Now some people, depending on how much you
No,
love Interstellar, go ahead.
that one I wanted to see. Like the trailer had me. I was like, oh, I want to see this.
I actually didn't want to see it. Then the hype came out, and I was like, damn it, Ryan Gosling. But people said that it's like a happier version of Interstellar, and I hate people comparing it to that because it's just space. There's similarities into their missions, and they're going into space, but it's not like Interstellar. It is completely different actually,
That's so
and
cheap.
yeah, it's just a cheap comparison, and I think Gosling he gives probably his best performance, either that or Drive. I would say probably his best, but this honestly is like legit one of his best performances. And going back to what I was saying earlier with scores, is sometimes you have people like Hans Zimmerman and Interstellar puts the ticking time element to where in the score throughout the movie you
All
hear
right,
that clock ticking, and like every second or something is like a year on Earth or whatever. I can't remember the
right.
time. In Project Hail Mary, in the score, uh, Gosling's character has like this rock alien that he meets. Not a spoiler, and he names it Rocky.
Hmm.
And Rocky is legit like a fucking rock. He's a character. He moves. He's mobile. It's a
Right.
puppet, but he's rock. And this rock stays in like glass. He has to stay in a glass setting because the environment's toxic to him. And
Oh,
so
okay.
in the score, you hear like these weird rock sounds. There's scratching of glass sometimes. There's weird tapping, weird made up noises.
Hmm.
There's And then because he's alone in space with this rock, he's actually not alone because Earth is counting on him. And so in the score, you also have these like hums of humans in the background. Um, didn't mean to go off on a tangent. That's very long-winded.
No, dude.
What are some important scores to you? It don't have to be influential. Just what are some important ones or some of your favorites?
All right, so this is probably once I say these names, is gonna be like, well, duh. So Hans Zimmerman and Danny Elfman are my two favorite composers.
Yep.
Um, and of course, Hans works with Christopher Nolan, and Danny Elfman works with Tim Burton.
Hmm.
um, and you are gonna laugh. Well, maybe you won't. But Interstellar, that like, duh, everyone says that. But one of the most amazing scores that I love to listen to, like put on Spotify and just have my headphones and listen to.
Cornfield
It,
Chase.
say what?
The Cornfield Chase.
No, no, that whole Hans Zimmer killed that, but is Man of Steel.
Oh, that's Hans
That
Zimmerman too.
Yeah, yeah, and it's when you, especially because you're mentioning the magic behind the score, and this is what a film student like yourself and me and fans will recognize is the score is just as important to the film as the writing itself and the absence of. For example, one of the most genius things they did in uh what's the movie with Tom Hanks in the volleyball? Um uh Not Stranded. You know what I'm talking about, where
Oh,
he's stuck.
out. Is it Castaway?
Castaway. So one of the wonderful things they did in Castaway is there was no score while he was on the island, and that
No
made that
Country for Old Men. No score.
No Country for Old Men. So right, so the score or the absence of is just as important. And what makes a great score for me is everything you just said, is when it adds to the film and the emotion of the scene. What I hate is when there's something playing that is a more of a distraction. Um, but what's another really good score?
I was just gonna say, like, there was
You put me
one,
on the spot.
there was a conductor that I was just thinking of besides, the obvious Hans Zimmer and Danny Elfman, which, by the way, I think still my favorite score would be Danny Elfman's score for Spider-Man.
Heck yeah, dude.
But
Oh yeah.
I have a hot take. Hans Zimmer score for TASM 2 is almost just as good. And people say it doesn't match Spider-Man. I think it is perfect for that movie. But
Listen,
anyway,
go ahead. Go to your point because I can go on Hans Zimmerman all day because the guy just knows how to match make the movie.
see, some people would say the big three would be Hans Zimmer, Danny Elfman, John Carpenter. I would
Oh yeah,
actually
I
I would
saw
have
that.
to debate with Hans Zimmer and Danny Elfman, take one of them out, and I would have to put John Williams up there because John Williams scored Jaws, Indiana Jones, Jurassic
Star
Park,
Wars.
Star Wars, E.T., Home Alone, Harry Potter,
Yeah. So I'm
the
glad you
original
said that.
Superman.
Right. So I'm glad you said that, Hayden, because whenever I have a conversation with about composers, I leave John Williams out because, in my opinion, it's like no, duh. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
I
right.
simply forget his
So,
name.
yeah, right. The guy made every big film ever. Like
All the scores
he's
you love were
right.
influenced by him.
Right. He's that guy. So I specifically don't mention him because it's just like, dude, like you that's like Mike when you talk basketball, there's no need to talk about Michael Jordan. We just know his greatness, right? So I kind of leave him out. Danny Elfman, what I like Men in Black, what I like about Danny Elfman is he's got his own sound. You know immediately when you hear a Danny Elfman score, and I love that about him. Let's see, Men in Black, well, pretty much any damn thing that Tim Burton has done. But he
Like
just
Danny
did one
Elfman's very
recently.
orchestrated and very like he's got a lot more like taps and percussion in his scores, while Hans Zimmer's a lot more electric.
Hans
That
does a
has the
lot of strings too.
it's orchestrated strings and electric.
Yeah,
But
he does a
anyway,
lot
I'm
of
sorry.
strings. No, you're good because I'm just Danny Elfman did one recently that was very surprising because I was like, oh, that was Elfman, and I gotta that's gonna bother me because
I got a
there it
recent
is,
one of his.
Dracula's um score. So he did the Dracula score.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I didn't know it was Danny Elfman while I was watching the movie. I just remember I kept thinking this sounds familiar.
He
And then it was after the movie ended. I was like, oh my God, that was Danny Elfman. It's
he
good, dude. I don't know if you
he
like the movie, but if you like Danny Elfman, listen to the score. It's good.
he made him he works with Tim Burton and Sam Raimi like a lot. And I didn't even think about it when I watched the movie, but Sam Raimi just made a movie called Send Help that came out
Yeah.
in January, and Danny Elfman scored it. And whenever I seen Danny Elfman's name pop up in the intro credits, I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot they're like a duo, like an awesome duo." And
Yeah.
that score to that movie, I thought was amazing.
Man,
Probably
I
his most
appreciate
forgettable
this.
score.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't like,
It stood out, but
this
I just don't remember it.
major film. So and that's what I'm saying. Like Danny Elfman has a sound, but in Dracula, it wasn't there. And you not recognizing him in that Sam Raimi film. That just shows how good he is my point that I'm bringing up. But I appreciate this because I don't ever get to talk about composers a lot with people. so
Yeah,
so
it's
this is why I love talking to people that love movies because a lot of times I don't like I have scores on my playlist.
right.
that sometimes I'll just pop in.
Last question. Do you have a favorite horror movie score? And if so, what is it?
Nope. Well, I can't because I'm not a big horror person, but I can tell you the probably ones that have the most impact, and that would be what was that Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street. Um, uh, yeah.
Well, I would recommend. I'm gonna give you three real quick, and then we
Okay.
can go ahead and do our exit. But
Okay.
I need you to go listen to. You've heard the Exorcist score, right?
I hate The Exorcist.
But I'm not talking about the movie, just the score.
You're gonna make me listen. That's one of the scariest movies in my life.
Oh, man. All right. Well, okay.
I'll listen to it. I'll listen to it. Go ahead. I'm just kidding.
The Saw score.
Hmm.
I would recommend Exorcist just for shits and
Okay.
giggles because they're
I'll
very
listen to it in
similar.
church.
Uh, and I would recommend. Mm, Halloween 3.
Halloween
No,
3
not
specifically.
specifically Halloween
Okay.
3.
Okay. The Exorcist, Halloween 3, and what was the other one?
Saw.
Saw. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just give those a listen. Um, Dude, this has been really fun. I've really enjoyed our conversation. I loved how free flow and nerdy we got. That was awesome. And I still got to do my deep dive and ask you who your influences were. I wish we could have got a little bit deeper. We're pretty I thought we would have had time, but we get together and we nerd out, and that's all that
Right.
matters to me. I have more fun doing this than anything. So yeah, let the people know
Same,
what you
brother.
got going on and coming out.
First off, again, thank you for having me, brother. Like you said, I love nerding out with you and just talking about the things we're passionate for. And if we need to do another, and you just tell me, Marcus, we're only going to talk about you. That's cool. We can do that. What I got going on right now is like I mentioned, I'm working on getting the financing and everything set up for Hurt and Private so that we can do that. I'm supposed to be doing a stage play in Atlanta. I've done it quite a few times here in Charlotte. House Full of Secrets, written by William Alexander, but um, we're supposed to be doing it in Atlanta in September. What else do I have?
Any content coming out this week?
Working on. Say what?
Any content coming out this week? Next
So,
week?
yep. Working on the channel. Check me out. The Fantasy Zone. Um, do content not every day because I got a full time job, wife and kids, but I try to get something out there every week. And yeah, I think that's it. I got a couple of films that I'm working with Dwayne Etheridge from Pure Prestige Productions. Coming soon. We are working finances together for those films. So a lot of stuff in the pipeline, brother. But in the front foremost future near future is of course the Fantasy Zone. Just working on that stuff and trying to get my kids to take over the animation side of
I
the
love that
channel.
video, by the way. Of
I
what is,
appreciate
was that
it.
your son and your daughter?
Yeah, Phoenix and Trinity did a review of the Mario film, and they had a good time. And I'm trying to get them to do it all the time. Because they love anime as much as I do, probably more. And they're like, they're in it. And so I'm trying to get them to take over the anime portion of my channel. But other than that, man, I think yeah, that's it, brother. And writing, I have a couple of other projects that I have to finish. I'm just, man, listen, I am trying my best to get people like you and I out there doing this full time and doing what we love full time and stop working and, other working on getting other people wealthy and start doing what we love and passionate about. So
Right.
that's kind of that's
I'm
kind of where
glad I
I'm on,
started
brother.
this podcast. I'm actually starting to love this. Actually, this feels a lot more like me and I don't feel lonely. I felt kind of fake doing my reviews. That's why I
Yeah.
started this, and I like talking to you. I like talking to, other people, making new friends, meeting new people, getting myself out there more. So, yeah, dude, I really appreciate you coming on. Everyone, all
Yeah,
his
man.
links will be down in the description below. Go subscribe, go like, follow, all that good stuff. Go watch
Check me
Hurt in
out.
Private. I will leave that description. I will leave that in the description as well. All my links are there too. Please share this with all your friends. Post it on your stories. Get the word out there. Yeah, dude, this was a really fun conversation. I'm surprised we didn't dive into video games, but we have
Oh
live
man.
streams on my channel that y'all can go watch because we dive hella deep into some Last of Us. So,
Yeah, bro.
yeah, y'all go sub. I hope y'all enjoyed watching this. Well, I think we really enjoyed making it for you.
Absolutely.
Stick around after I hang up on this, but yeah, until next time, I'll see y'all later.
Appreciate you.